I think there are many excellent things in this paradigm. I'll just give you one example. The concept of translatorial action has a lot of virtue in it these days when translators are called upon to do many things that go beyond just producing a translation. Look at this. This comes from Christiane Nord. I've simplified it a little, but it still works, I think. Let's agree that there's such a thing as communication. This is within a wide frame of actions, types of actions. Communication can be cross-cultural. It can then be mediated or direct. And if it's mediated, then we could talk about translatorial action. All mediated cross-cultural communication is translatorial action. Translators can do things there. And under that category, translators can do translational things, that is, producing a translation, or non-translational. Translators are often called upon to draft documents, to rewrite previous documents, to do terminological work increasingly, to give advice on cross-cultural communication, to give cultural insight as to how a client's purpose might best be achieved, and so on. And often these are the most interesting and lucrative parts of what translators are qualified to do. There's no reason why a theory should just then focus only on the translational things, in which case the division here is between achieving a new function or achieving the same function. And I've suggested at the bottom there, actually, that the use of formal equivalents, producing a text that is very literal, very close to the source text, often falls under the category of new function. But you may pursue that in your own time. I find this fascinating, the fact that we can now situate what translators do on a kind of map of actions, and we could recognize that they do much more than just translate. What are the strong points in this theory? Let me summarize them now. The strongest point for me is that it recognizes that the translator works in a professional situation. That is, it's got this experiential aspect, which I'm looking for. And that the translator has complex obligations, and those obligations are not with just the text, the source text, but with people, readers, receivers, clients, and the many other intermediaries who are there, other translators, other experts in terminology, etc. This paradigm liberates the translator from theories that would try to formulate only linguistic rules, that would try to govern and determine every situation. This theory does not tell the translator what to do in every situation. It really just says, you're there, you're the expert, you decide, but when you decide, remember you're working with all these people around you. This theory invites us to see translation as a project, not just a text, but a project with a text and a brief and relations with other people. And it can address ethical issues in social terms. Christiane Nord has developed the term loyalty. She allows us to believe that a translator is faithful to a text, traditionally so, but also loyal to people, including the new reader, including the client, and including the source text author, if and when they are around. Great. There are, however, several weak points for me. Firstly, I suspect that this theory has taken the problem of uncertainty and moved it from the source text side somewhere else. The concept of purpose, Scopus, Zweck, aim in German, is itself an idealism. Just as source texts have to be interpreted, so purposes are interpretations from text, textual material. The brief is a text. what the client says to you as a text. What we think of the new reader is also textual. So the problem of uncertainty isn't solved, it's merely moved to a new place, to this new idealism, purpose. Many parts of this paradigm involve theoretical ideas that are unfalsifiable. I can't say they're wrong, but you can't say they're right. They're just definitions. For example, if I say the dominant factor in the translation is its purpose, does that refer to all translations? Therefore, it's a definition. Or to only good translations, in which case it's a prescription. I suspect it's a definition, therefore is unfalsifiable. We can say yes or we can say no. But there's no way that you can prove that, no way you can even test it. Somebody can come along and say the dominant factor is equivalence. What argument do we have against them? How can these people argue? They are in different paradigms. The theory, as we've seen, or as I've suggested, sidelines equivalence to a special case scenario. But it tends to forget that in our contemporary Western cultures, equivalence is a very strong idea. It has the status, I suggest, of a default norm. If your client does not tell you what to do with the translation, what are you going to do? Translate as best you can according to something within the equivalence paradigm. It's out there, it's a default norm, it's very strong. Equivalence has not been dethroned in social practice, only in this set of theories. Further weak points. If we're going to come close to the actual experience of translating as a professional reality, I think we have to talk about money, or about effort, or about cost effectiveness, and all these very practical things which are not addressed in these theories. Now, purpose analysis, spending a long time negotiating with your client, or reflecting and doing calculations and doing test translations in order to get the purpose, is often not cost effective. You wouldn't do it for a small half-page translation. You would probably do it intuitively, as professionals do. But the theory has yet to address this whole economics of translatorial action. Also, for me, the idea that translators are experts, once again, I don't know if that's a definition or something we hope is true. I do suspect, though, that if we ask the theorists, well, how do the translators become experts? Many of them, within the German context, would say, well, they are qualified by a translator training institution, a translation school. And who are the theorists in the schools? Who are the experts who say who the experts are? They are the people producing the theory of expertise. I won't say that's a general case, but it's a problem that expertise is a very self-serving notion, or could become so. Far better, perhaps, to see expertise as evolving from professional practice, but then we would require some sort of sociology of professions, and then the translation profession as a special case. Also, with respect to the ethics evolved, I think it's very praiseworthy to talk about loyalty to people. But I would hope that a theory of ethics can help me resolve problems. If I have a case of conflicting loyalties, should I do what's in the source text, what the author wanted, I believe, or should I do what my client wants? How do I decide? I'm supposed to be loyal here and loyal there. This set of theories cannot tell you. It'll say, you're on your own. Good luck. We've opened up the terrain for you. You are now free. You decide. If you're happy with that, great. Personally, though, I would like a deeper, richer approach to ethics that can decide further factors that might help us resolve dilemmas. That will have to wait for a further paradigm, I'm afraid. That's all we have for purposes and functions.